Welcome on into the Wolverine Recruiting Show. Clayton Safey here with EJ Holland. Check our work out at thewolverine.com. We just moved over to the On3 network. Super excited about that. Go over there. It's plastered all over the front page, but you can join us for $1 for an entire year. All the recruiting scoop, team updates, all of that. Great analysis from our entire team at thewolverine.com. EJ will talk a little bit about that at the end in terms of like how that's going to affect recruiting coverage. It's only going to make it better, but we'll go a little more in depth about that. But your quick thoughts on just how exciting it is to be on the On3 network.
Yeah, it's super exciting. I think On3 is going to provide us with a platform where we can maximize exposure to our content, which we didn't really have at our previous provider. It's a lot easier for us on the back end. The SEO inner workings are terrific, which means if you aren't really familiar with SEO, it's search engine optimization. That means more people coming over to the site. We've already have 4,000 plus subscribers, and we started from zero. So we had to start over, and you guys have been awesome coming over. Remember to tell friends and get everybody that was on the fort back over to the actual fort. We are still a few thousand short of what we were from our original subscriber base, but I'm sure we'll get there, especially with this promo code. And you can't beat it. 1 year for $1. That gets you all your in-depth recruiting information that you're used to over at the Wolverine when we were at our old provider. It's the same content. It's going to be even better. We have more resources. We have better national analysts. We have better technology. And we have more capital, which allowed us to go out and hire another full-time recruiting reporter, Tim Verghese, who's going to be helping us out a lot and joining us on the YouTube show next week. And of course, we still have our great jack of all trades, Clayton Safey, and the full team guys on staff, Chris Ballas, John Borton, Anthony Broom. So come over, sign up now. 1 year for $1. I mean, you can't beat that. You can't really buy anything for $1 anymore.
It's true. Yeah, there's no question about it that it's going to be more of the same at thewolverine.com. And what I mean by that is not the same, but more of the same. We'll have more great content, and the great content will be only even better. So join us for that $1. I said it on another show earlier this week, but if somebody wants to DM me, I will Venmo them $1 and pay for their year. So DM me on Twitter. It's only $1. I'm proving how minuscule that is. And they're paying us decent. So I got $1 laying around. So we'll do that. So if somebody wants to hit me up, they can hit up EJ too. I don't know if he's gonna Venmo you, but maybe. So
do you know for a load of laundry in Chicago in my apartment building, it's $3 for an entire to do the actual wash and the dry. Just to get the wash is $1.50. So this is less than a half a load of laundry.
There you go. You can also get 4 months for $1. There's a few hundred people have done that. I don't know why, but just get the year. Just do the year. I guarantee you we'll keep you around. So let's see. Let's start, EJ, with some big news that you were able to break this week. Bryce Archie, 2022 quarterback target. He's committed to Coastal Carolina, but he will make an official visit to Michigan. As you reported, a big development here because Michigan already has a quarterback in Jaden Denegal in this 2022 class. And something we've talked about frequently over the last couple months. Will they end up going after another quarterback? They've kind of continued to recruit some, but he's kind of a new offer and a guy that seems to have some immediate interest.
Yeah, it's interesting how this kind of happened. So Archie basically wasn't on the radar at all. Michigan was really only pursuing one other quarterback, and that was Justin Martin, who recently committed to UCLA. In fact, the only reason Michigan caught wind of Archie is because they decided to evaluate his wide receiver, Caleb Webb, who's currently committed to East Carolina and will also be making an official visit. They saw Webb's film and said, this quarterback's pretty good. Who is he? And they looked him up, and Jim Harbaugh gave him a call and offered him on the spot. So it kind of was a bit of a whirlwind for Archie. Like you mentioned, he's committed to Coastal Carolina, but he's still looking at a few other options, Michigan being one of them. And he's still kind of learning a little bit more about the Michigan program, but he was so excited with the call with Jim Harbaugh. He's exchanged a few messages with Matt Weiss, and with Webb now being a target as well, and the opportunity to team up with him at the next level. Archie already went ahead and set an official visit, so he'll be in Ann Arbor for the game against Indiana. As far as Archie as a player, I really like him. I want to see more of him. Obviously, I haven't had a chance to see him in person, and he's a new name, so I haven't watched a ton of film. But he just put out his senior highlights out yesterday. I got a chance to see a little bit of that, and he looks really good. I mean, he's a guy that can make plays with his legs. He has a really good arm. Actually, throws a 93-mile-per-hour fastball on the baseball diamond. Really like his athletic profile. He's actually a Coastal Carolina baseball commit as well, and had a few other baseball offers. Really good shortstop that can also play pitcher. And yeah, I think he's still a little bit raw and coming along from a fundamental standpoint. But I don't see much of a difference between Archie and Denegal. In fact, when you compare film side by side, I would say Archie might even be the better prospect.
Very, very interesting. We've talked about it, as I mentioned, the potential for this, and I know they haven't landed him, at least yet, but can you kind of detail a little bit, I guess, what Michigan's thinking is here? I know a lot of people have expressed some concern, and this is from the fan base, in terms of, okay, you have two quarterbacks right now that are playing. Obviously, Cade McNamara is the starter. JJ is getting some run as well. Is that sustainable in today's college football with the transfer portal? Is it a numbers thing where they're worried they could potentially lose one of them? Or, I guess, what are your thoughts? Or is it something about Denegal? Just kind of that whole topic.
I feel like it's kind of a mixture of things. Well, one, like you said, it's kind of the nature of the beast in college football these days. The quarterback transfer portal is large and wide. I mean, guys are hopping in and out of the portal all the time. So I'm not saying McNamara or JJ would hop in the portal, but you also have to think about the guys behind them. You landed one transfer in Alan Bowman, who feels like he's been in college football forever, but somehow, as one of the members pointed out to me, still has like 3 years of eligibility or something.
I think so, yeah.
I don't know how that's even possible, but I'm not sure Bowman has really panned out as what Michigan thought they were getting in him. So, there's still a question mark with Bowman with so much eligibility still left for him. Maybe he takes a look around. And then you have to remember, yes, Michigan landed JJ last cycle, but the cycle before that, they originally had JD Johnson committed. JD obviously ended up having a medical issue and had to medically retire. So Michigan took a late flyer on Dan Villari. And so that was kind of a cycle where it was almost a complete miss at the quarterback position. Then you fast forward to this cycle. So obviously you had JJ. This cycle, you land Denegal, who's kind of a borderline Power 5 prospect. I mean, he's not a bad take. He has some good traits that Weiss can work with. He did suffer an injury. We don't really know the extent of that injury yet. But I think taking another quarterback maybe makes sense, especially when you look at 23. You have all your eggs in the Dante Moore basket. If you land Dante Moore, that's amazing. But if you don't land Dante Moore, where do you go from there? They're not really pursuing any other quarterbacks for next cycle. So I think a mix of all of that information is a reason Michigan has been evaluating some other quarterbacks. So it's not like Michigan's going all in and offering a ton of quarterbacks late this cycle. They're kind of picking and choosing. And, at the end of the cycle, they might not take another quarterback. But Archie does have the skill set that Matt Weiss really likes at the position. And he does have that athletic profile upside with his baseball background, with his arm strength, again, being able to throw a 93-mile-per-hour fastball. He obviously can sling it, and just the ability to make some plays with his legs as well. And it could really help out with his teammate, Caleb Webb, who Michigan is quickly making a priority at wide receiver. So I think it's, again, just a culmination of everything. I don't think people should worry, oh, no, JJ is going to hop in the portal or something like that. I think there's a lot that's going into this decision.
Yeah, I think that's important to point out. So, yeah, we'll see with that. I like the baseball background. 93 is some heat for a high schooler for sure. We'll keep an eye on Bryce Archie. And again, EJ was able to break that news over at thewolverine.com, now on the On3 network. Joined for a year for just $1. EJ, they're not the only ones. Caleb Webb and Bryce Archie coming into town for the Michigan-Indiana game. I guess what are a couple more names to know when it comes to this weekend's visitors?
Yeah, so let's just really touch on Caleb Webb. He is the other official visitor coming in, another three-star prospect from Georgia who, again, like I mentioned, is quickly ascending up the wide receiver board, which doesn't have a lot of names on it to begin with. But right now, Michigan only with one wide receiver commit in Tyler Morris. So the Wolverines obviously want to take another or two wide receivers this cycle, and Webb is a big, intriguing target. Again, committed to East Carolina, but is looking around. Tennessee, Louisville are some of the other schools that are heavily involved. Michigan will get a shot to impress him this weekend. I think we'll know a lot more about where the Wolverines stand following his first trip to Ann Arbor. And then you have some interesting underclassmen coming in as well. You have Charles Jagusa coming out from Rock Island, Illinois. He is the number 32 overall prospect in the On3 rankings for the 2023 class. A really intriguing offensive lineman that also has some D1 offers as a defensive lineman. I think he, is really high on some Midwest schools early on, and this will be his first true look at Michigan. So it's great that they're getting him on campus. He's not really in Chicagoland. He's actually out on the border of Illinois and Iowa, I believe. So I haven't had a chance to see him live, but hope to get out there at some point soon. You have another on 300 lineman coming in Indianapolis, defensive lineman Kendrick Gilbert. This is a big 6'4", 255-pound defensive end that will likely, bulk up and be its three technique in this defense if Michigan's able to land him. Another Midwest guy that is high on some regional schools and is excited to get a look at Michigan. One of the more interesting names on the list for underclassmen is Jaden Doss, 2023 wide receiver out of the Kansas City area. Our new recruiting reporter, Tim Verghese, who actually just covered Nebraska and is still living in Lincoln, but is about to move from that terrible place and get away from the Frost family. He's about to see Jaden Doss out in Kansas City. And he's a three-star wide receiver, but he's racking up a lot of major offers. I'm interested to see Tim's thoughts, but wide receiver is going to be a big priority, especially with the low numbers in 2022. And Doss is a guy they like early on. I think you'll see a few more 2023 and more underclassmen pop up as we get closer to game day. But as of right now, the official visitors are Archie and Webb, with some interesting underclassmen coming in for this night game against Indiana, which is going to be pretty cold out there.
It's going to be freezing. So, yeah, I mean, some of the kids from the South, they don't like that as much. And, man, I think even Juwan Howard said, somebody asked him at Big Ten Basketball Media Day, like, when you bring recruits in, do you like it better in the summer when the weather's a little bit better? And he's like, hell yeah. I mean, you wanted these kids to think it's like 75 year-round there. So it's going to test some of these kids with like 30-degree weather, but should be an interesting game for Michigan, night game. So should be a good atmosphere at least if the Michigan fans show up after last week's loss. Anything else on our move to On3, EJ? You mentioned that we're hiring Tim, or we did hire Tim, and he's already bombarding the site with content. He's been doing a great job already so far. He's been active on the message board, answering questions and all that. So now we have, another 5-star on our team in Tim Verghese to cover recruiting, and just feels like we just keep, continuing to build.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like I said, take advantage of the $1 for 1 year offer. You really can't beat it. We have the same exact team that was over at our old provider. Everybody moved over, so you're getting the same writers you're used to, the same message board you're used to. And I can't reiterate this enough, but what makes the Wolverine special is the message board and the community we have over at the Fort. And part of the reason we moved over is so you guys could have a better user experience. Our old provider was kind of ancient and archaic in the way they displayed things on the front page, the message boards, the features. The message boards on On3 are a lot cleaner. We have a lot of updated technology that's going to be kind of rolled out for our front page. The database is going to be second to none whenever they finish that. And I know you guys have been asking about the app. On3 is going to roll out an app early next year, so you guys will be able to access that as well. But it should just be a really user-friendly experience for everybody involved. So if you were a subscriber, we're glad that you're joining us again. If you weren't a subscriber to the old Wolverine, now's kind of a chance for you guys to check out what you've been missing. I mean, $1 again, you can't really beat that. And the other thing I'll say that a lot of people have been asking is, how involved will we be in the rankings? Obviously, at Rivals, we really didn't have any say. There was a big disconnect between national rankings and team sites, and basically zero communication here. I'm told that we are going to have an open line of communication, especially with me going out on the road and seeing so many of Michigan's commits and targets. We will have more input in the rankings moving forward. So again, the technology, the user experience, the maximum exposure, everything is beneficial for us and for you guys. So 1 year, $1, take advantage now.
Absolutely. And talking about that database, I mean, the things you can, everything's there about a kid, their social media, especially, with that becoming bigger, with NIL being more prominent. You can see their highlights right there on the page. You can see all the articles about them. You can see all the predictions on all the insiders. That's coming soon. Who's predicting that recruit to go where. So the database is everything, basically, on top of the already great coverage we're going to have and improved technology, as EJ mentioned. So win-win-win. The Wolverine to On3. Who could possibly have it better than all of the people over on the Fort? So join us over there, $1 for 1 year, and we'll continue this conversation over on the Fort.